Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the road trip for Manchester United versus Copenhagen, and Copenhagen come all the way from Denmark to visit Manchester United in Manchester at Old Trafford, and we are now at Carrington at the training complex where Manchester United have just hosted their press conference with Eric Ten Hag and Diogo Dalot, and we've just seen a little bit of open training. The mood is very good around here. Obviously so tragic with the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton, and everybody sends their condolences to Sir Bobby's family, and he would be such a huge miss in the footballing game, and we've just signed the book of condolences there, pay massive respects to such a legend but also a true gentleman as well. Amazing off the football pitch and unbelievable off the football pitch as well, so on and off, an unbelievable guy. So the mood here is paying respect to Sir Bobby, but in training the mood seemed really upbeat and everybody seemed really happy, coming off the back of 2 wins. Yes, the performances weren't up to standard, and we know this if you've watched the fan forums, if you've watched the reactions, we'll have said it how it is. The performances haven't been up to standard and people are still struggling to see a style of play. And sometimes Manchester United can be difficult to watch, and they were difficult to watch against Sheffield United, they were difficult to watch against Brentford, but both them games we managed to get the wins in, and that puts us into a little bit more of a secure position in the Premier League with City, our next Premier League game being the derby. And you know, if we somehow manage to win that, only 3 points behind City in the league, but it also could go the other way and we could end up 9 points behind them. So a lot riding on this week, but first comes first, it's Copenhagen in the Champions League. A game that when this group got drawn, you would expect Manchester United to be beating them home and away. And that's no disrespect to Copenhagen, but I looked at the group, I thought Bayern Munich, going to be really tough. Home and away. I looked at Galatasaray, I thought home win, away from home is going to be difficult. Managed to screw the home win as well. We should have won that game, but unfortunately ended up losing it 3-2. Multiple errors and just wasn't a good night for Manchester United all in all. But that makes tomorrow night's game even more important. It has to be a win. And mathematically, even though Manchester United wouldn't be out tomorrow night, if you just look at the mathematics of it all, you would consider them to be out of the Champions League. Even a draw tomorrow is just not enough. Copenhagen at home, the games you have to be winning, and Manchester United has to be winning that game. So looking forward to the game tomorrow, we have Sergio Reguilón back. Eric Ten Hag confirmed that he's back. We'll have to see whether he's match fit enough to come into the squad, he says, but I would imagine Sergio Reguilón will be back. He's training with the first team over there. Also, update for you all, Tyrone Malacia will not be back in the squad, but he was doing his own individual training, as you have just seen. So that is exciting that we have another left back potentially on the horizon of return. Just getting on the grass is really important for Tyrone Malacia after all the time he's been out. Kobbie Mainoo as well, training again. Will he be fit enough to be part of the matchday squad? They're questions that would be good to get answered, and we'll have them answered tomorrow night when, well, or today, whenever this is going out, I can't even remember, but we'll have them questions answered very, very soon. It'll be nice to see when if Kobbie Mainoo makes that appearance after in pre-season. He was so good. But looking forward tomorrow night, and I'm looking at what team Eric Ten Hag is going to play. You look at Copenhagen. Højlund's brother does play for Copenhagen, didn't make an appearance in the game against Bayern Munich, which they narrowly lost 2-1, by the way, Copenhagen. Very good game. So if people think Copenhagen are just going to be a pushover, they would be thinking wrong. They would be thinking very wrong, because their last Champions League game against Bayern Munich, yes, they lost it, but it was a very close game. They played really well and ended up losing it 2-1. So Copenhagen as well managed to get a draw against Galatasaray, if I am correct on that one. Let me just double check down here. I'm just looking at the previous games of Copenhagen. Galatasaray, yeah, they managed to go away from home to Turkey and get a 2-2 draw. And they had a man sent off. So Copenhagen are not just going to be a whipping boy. They're not just going to roll over and let us tickle their bellies, especially with the form that Manchester United have been. Yes, they've won the last 2 games, but the form since the start of the season, they've just looked so unconvincing. Copenhagen will be coming here thinking that they can get something out of Manchester United, and it will be a big occasion for them. As I said, Oscar Højlund, Højlund's brother, will be in the squad. Højlund, a big night for him. You assume he's going to start. All of his goals so far for Manchester United have come in the Champions League. Brilliant goal against Bayern Munich, and then 2 excellent goals against Galatasaray, and it's such a shame that them goals haven't been able to be converted into points. So I expect him tomorrow night, after not being able to score a league goal yet, Champions League night, the anthem comes on and Højlund's ready to go. And I would love to see Højlund get on the score sheet against his old club. Obviously, used to play for Copenhagen, and he's obviously from Denmark, so it would be great to see that. I think he's going to be up for it, and I just fancy him to do well tomorrow night. I really do. Also in the front line, You've seen the press conference. Will Martial make an appearance? I very much doubt it, but it'd be nice to see him and Højlund get on the pitch together. I expect to see the front line to be Højlund, Rashford and Antony again. That seems to be Erik Ten Hag's preferred front line. Is it my preferred front line? No. What I would go with Højlund up front, I would go with Martial on the left, and I would go with Rashford on the right. Garnacho, very unlucky to miss out. You could even go with Garnacho on the left, even, to be honest with you. Either Martial or Garnacho, but I'd probably just go with Martial and then maybe bring Garnacho off the bench for a bit of firepower. That's what I would go with. And people say, Beth, Rashford on the right. Why Rashford on the right? He's looked dangerous from the right. That's where he got his cross in for Højlund when he scored against Galatasaray. That's where that partnership has looked its most dangerous, in my opinion. And I don't think Antony played well at all against Sheffield United. I think he's a good player and I think he's got so much potential. But I would like to see Rashford have a run out there, right footer on the right wing, getting crosses in the box. Højlund needs service. He needs people who are going to feed him. Martial, his link-up play on in and around the box is excellent, and I think to have that with Højlund would suit him superbly well and give him more opportunity. Martial and Rashford have also shown a good relationship in the past. Rashford on the right, he's forced into crossing the ball a little bit more. He can make them crosses in with his right foot. Usually when he's on the left-hand side, he has started to put more crosses in the box with his left foot, but he's right-footed. I think he'd be so much stronger if he's on the right-hand side, if that's the plan with Erik Ten Hag, that he wants him to be feeding Højlund. So I'd love to see that. Don't think we will see it. But Erik Ten Hag didn't shoot it down in his press conference. He said he's thought about it and Martial can play wide position. So you never know. I'd love to see that, if I'm being honest with you, but I don't think Erik Ten Hag will do it. I think it will be Antony on that right-hand side, and I think he's got to show up. Last season in the Europa League, obviously showed up against Barcelona. Really important Champions League night to keep us in the Champions League at Old Trafford. There's so much riding on this game. Man United's Champions League hopes of this season is riding on this game. It's going to be his best team and they need to be performing at the highest level possible. Looking towards the midfield, what is Erik Ten Hag going to do? Because he has a problem. He has a problem in the sense that Mason Mount will, I think he'll be playing this game. I think what Ten Hag will have done is said, Mason, look, I need you for the week and for the derby. Let's sit this one out against Sheffield United. He would have kind of worded it like that to him. But there is question marks over whether Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes can start in the same team. There's no doubt Bruno Fernandes is going to start on a must-win Champions League night. A lot of people will be calling for Bruno to be dropped. I'm not one of them. Yes, he's not been great recently, but I always say form is temporary, class is permanent, and I think Bruno Fernandes, he's the captain. He's going to start this game, there's no doubt about it. Amrabat is definitely going to start with Casemiro being out, I would say. Casemiro, obviously, the red card, Amrabat's going to play. So what will his other midfielder be? Erik Ten Hag spoke about in the press conference him liking Eriksen have that role every game to come on and affect the game from the bench. I think it's what suits him best with the legs and the energy that he's got left in his tank, but as a footballer, you're never going to lose that intelligence. So I love that role for Eriksen. So who's going to be the last midfielder? Is it going to be Scott McTominay, who scored 3 goals in the last 2 games but only had 9 touches last game? Or is it going to be Mason Mount, who undeservingly, I think, was dropped against Sheffield United and has looked really intelligent in that Manchester United field, and I think has had a really positive start. I'd be tempted to go with the midfield of Amrabat, Mount and Bruno Fernandes and then bring the likes of Eriksen and McTominay off the bench. Hannibal even, really unlucky to miss out. Could he get a go? He started against Galatasaray in the Champions League and then got subbed off at 45 minutes in. I wouldn't be mad if I saw Hannibal in the starting lineup. I wouldn't be disappointed. But if I'm looking for strength and I'm looking for what midfield I think would be the best to play tomorrow night, I would go with Amrabat, Mount and Bruno and then look for other options off the bench. But I wouldn't be as frustrated if it was, for example, Amrabat, Hannibal and Bruno, or Amrabat, Hannibal and Mount, and whichever way you word it, I wouldn't be frustrated in that because you need energy, you need legs in that midfield. But I definitely think that midfield of Mount, Bruno and Amrabat can work if it's done tactically right, and that's what we've failed to see so far this season. If it's done tactically right, I think you can see it. Centre-backs, I said I would go with Varane and Maguire. I just don't think Maguire can be dropped after the man of the match performance, and Varane is our best centre-back. He comes into this, that's why I was rested against Sheffield United. Dalot, obviously, brilliant goal at the weekend. Spoke to him a little bit about that and him getting forward a little bit more. Seen him there in training, looks really high spirits. And I think for consistency, yes, he's had some poor moments. Galatasaray, that Zaha goal, it was one of them where you think hands across your face and you're thinking, Dalot, after all the good work you've done, why is this happening? But he's been one of the most consistent players for us this season, so he obviously started right back. There's no other right back to start anyway, and I'd love to see him getting forward and contributing. I really do think he's developing, and people forget how young he is. I think he's only 23, 24 years old, so he's got so much potential left in him, and he just seems like such a leader, and he's got that great mentality, and obviously Ronaldo spoke so highly about him in the past as well. Left back, Sergio Reguilon coming back in. he's got to play. He's got to play. If he's fit, he's got to play. We need a left back. We saw how badly we got torn apart down the left-hand side against Galatasaray. Let's not do that again. And then in net, I think it is going to be Andre Onana. He's got to have a good game. He had a solid game against Sheffield United in the weekend. But if we got to the Champions League, a lot of people will be pointing the finger at Onana, and rightly so, for them games against Bayern Munich and Galatasaray with huge mistakes in both of them. Really good against Sheffield United. Let's carry that on. Let's have some momentum and let's see him play in this game and let's just see what he's got, because I think Onana is going to be a great keeper for Manchester United. I just think he needs the time, and what a game to redeem himself this would be. It's not going to be an easy game for Manchester United. As part of the road trip, I did ask my colleagues at the United stand, just to round it off, what their score predictions would be and who their goal scorers would be, because I thought, you get yours in the comments, I'm going to tally up the points, and when we do the after-match reaction, I'll talk about it and we can build it up week by week when we do these predictions and see who is the best at predicting the games, who's got the best football knowledge, who's got the best luck, who's got a little bit of a psychic in them. So I'm going to do that. So my score prediction is going to be 2-0 to Manchester United, and I'm going to go with Højlund and Rashford as the goal scorers. That's what I'm going with. Ricky, my good friend Ricky, who was buzzing with my question about Martial in the press conference, I must say, has gone with 2-0 to Manchester United as well, and he's gone Højlund both goals, so he's backing Rasmus Højlund to get both goals. And our friend Faz has gone with 2-1 to Manchester United, and he's gone with Højlund and Anthony as goals. As I say, players need to step up. We need to win this game, but all of the panel predicting a win, so that's nice. I did ask Mark for his prediction, but he's not got back to me, and I think it's because he doesn't want to get involved in the win, lose or draw thing with us, because I don't know, is he worried about the competition? Get on to him in the comments about doing it next time. But there are predictions. Come on, Manchester United, you've got to win this. I don't want to go out the Champions League. We're back in the Champions League, and the last thing we want is Europa League football, or to even go out of it altogether. We have to win this game. A big week coming up. We can still come back from this. Get your predictions down below. Come on, United, and let's beat Copenhagen at Old Trafford.